we talked about Jey Uso and Jey Uso dedicating that main event match last night. I want to start with that main event. What a great match between Seth Rollins and Jey Uso. I mean, they gave them, I want to say, around 25 minutes last night. First of all, a lot of there was a few matches that were given a lot of time last night, including the opening match between Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn. But man, Bully, you say it a lot. Like, Seth Rollins is one of the best wrestlers in the world. I think Seth proved that last night. What a great match between those two in that main event on Raw.
It was a quality main event. Great match. Did you see the people biting on the false finishes?
Oh,
towards down the stretch. Both guys staying down out of exhaustion down the stretch. I will say this. There was, and I hate to nitpick, Dave. I hate to nitpick, especially when a match is that good. But there was a moment that took me out for a second. And it was towards the end. And it kind of affected the way I looked at the match or I felt about the finish. Did you pick up on anything?
No, I'm very interested to hear what that was.
About a minute before the finish, Jey Uso has Seth Rollins down, and Seth is on his knees. And Jey Uso measures Seth Rollins. Thank you. I don't know what that was, but thank you. Jey Uso measures Seth Rollins and super kicks him right in the jaw. And Seth Rollins stood up, hit the ropes, and speared Jey Uso, and then hit him with the curb stomp. I was just like, what the hell just happened? The guy was on his knees. Jey measured him up for a kill shot, super kicks him right in the face. And Seth stands up, hits the ropes, and then there's the spear. That was so abrupt to my eyes. I don't know if there was an issue with maybe somebody was on the wrong page at that moment. I see you got your remote in your hand. I see you're going to go back and watch it.
I'm going back and watching it, 100%.
Like, I don't know if to other people that stood out so much, but to me it was glaring. It did, obviously you're not picking up on it, so maybe it wasn't to you, but it's like one of those things that, and I don't mean to bring AEW into this, but it's like one of those things I would see in AEW that would drive me crazy. So I gotta kind of have to talk about it. Like this morning, like that was like it was either a mistake, and I can't believe those two guys of all people made this type of mistake, or maybe because they were running a little heavy on time, they just had to get to the finish. But man, that super kick landed right on Seth's jaw. And Seth, instead of getting knocked over, stands up.
He does. I'm watching it right now, and he hits him with the super kick. He gets up, and then Jey is about to deliver the spear, and Seth hits him with a pedigree, and then does the curb stomp, and then the 1, 2, 3. I think watching it last night, Bully, and because you mentioned AEW, this happens a lot with AEW. You kind of get caught in the moment. You get caught in the momentum of the match. You kind of feel when it's rolling like that. But I can see it, especially as a performer and somebody that likes to dot the I's and cross the T's like you do. And this is why I love, getting your reaction after a show like last night. I can see how that took you out of the moment.
And Dave, I'm as caught up as you are or as any other fan is in this match. I'm biting on the false finishes. I'm going, whoa, oh, this is great. And all of a sudden that happens, and I'm just like, whoa. Like, it's as if somebody smacks me in the face, and I'm just like, wait a minute, that definitely should not have happened. That doesn't belong there. There's no way in hell that these guys planned. I'm like, that was a kill shot. The guy's down on his knees. If anything, it should have knocked him over, but it made him stand up on his feet. And that's, I got to be fair across the board. When I see things that to me do not make sense. It was such a great match, such a great main event. Had me. And then all of a sudden I see that and I'm like, oof. Seriously, Dave, it takes me right out of the moment.
And Bully, I can't believe, and obviously we'll talk to the nation. I want the nation to be honest about this because I didn't pick up on it like Bully did. Great job by Bully, and I'm wondering if our fans did or did not, because I want them to be honest when they call in today. It had to be a mistake. Watching it back, Bully, it had to be a mistake. I'm wondering if Jey was supposed to miss that super kick because Seth didn't register it at all. Like you said, he's on his knees. He looks like he's on his last breath, like he's about to get beat. Jey hits him with that super kick, and Seth just like shakes it off like nothing and stands up. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen somebody just stand up after being super kicked like that.
Well, watch AEW every week and you'll see it.
Well, I mean, I'm watching it. Listen, at that, but
it's a little chuckle joke, guys.
It is a little chuckle joke.
Don't take it so seriously.
No, but Bully, this is at the end of the match,
right?
Like it's like you're right. In AEW, we do see it during the course of the match, but this is right at the end. This is at the final sequence of the match. And now, unfortunately, I probably won't look at the match the same way after seeing this because it does take a little bit away from what we had just seen.
And I'm not bringing it up because I want it to take away from you. I'm asking your opinion because it was so glaring to me. Like I said, I can't believe that these two quality workers, especially Seth, who from the time that I spent with Seth, I know really puts a lot of thought into it. I think they might have been running long on time, or somebody might have just forgot something. And this is what we got. They were like, we got to get to this finish and we got to get to it now. Cause you got to remember, if you go back and watch, Dave, Seth picks Jey up rather quickly to help him off the mat. There was no moment there. There was no moment for Seth to stand there with the championship and really sell the battle and then look down at Jey and then help him up slowly before Seth goes up and gets the beauty shot on the turnbuckles. He picks Jey up rather quickly off the mat. And he's like, yeah, bro, good match. Bye. And then Jey rolls out. And then obviously we get McIntyre with a Claymore and then puts Jey through the announce table with some kind of modified baby suplex. And one of the things with I'm going to get to another point while you're watching. Go ahead.
Well, because really what I'm looking for right now is the time. And there was no overrun last night. They signed off, right? I'm watching back
Raw
right now.
Raw doesn't do an overrun anymore.
They signed off right at the top of the hour. So when Jey Uso caught Seth Rollins with that super kick, it was at 10:58, and then they were off at 11 o'clock. So they had 2 minutes to get to the finish of the match and then to get to everything that was happening with Drew McIntyre at the end. So there is, without a doubt, Bully, to answer your question, they did that, I'm sure, because of time and that they were running out of time.
To recap, excellent match. The finish puzzled me. It took me out for a moment. That's just me personally, because that should never be going on. And then I want to get to the announce table with Drew. The announce table, when the announce table breaks or gets broken or somebody gets put through it, it's not the same as when a regular table gets broken. And when you do a regular table the right way, and trust me, I've done this once or twice, the table explodes. The table shatters. The act of going through a table looks and sounds so brutal that, yeah, that guy or gal got hurt. With the announce table, unless it's like somebody flying off the top rope and doing the elbow drop a la a Shane McMahon, or two guys standing on top of the announce table with maybe like a big rock bottom or a pedigree. The announce table doesn't explode. The announce table kind of crumbles. It's almost like the announce table looks like a house of cards at times.
Yeah.
And it just goes boop, 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 and it just kind of, crumbles. So I would love to see them use the announce table less. And when it is used, make it real big. Make it so it looks like that announce table truly hurt. Because last night, whatever Drew did to Jey looked quite anticlimactic to me.
Yeah, and again, I think, Bully, watching back at it now, it had to be because of time.
Yes.
Like I would think that they wanted that sequence with Drew McIntyre to be much longer than it was, because you had him, give the Claymore to Jey Uso, then Seth Rollins came out to help, and then Drew had to dispose of Jey Uso. That all had to be done in less than 60 seconds. So think about like what I'm saying. I'm looking back at it right now. The super kick to Jey Uso was at 10:58:08. They signed off at 11 o'clock. So that's less than 2 minutes to do everything that you and I have been talking about over the last 5 minutes. That's not a lot of time. So they must have went very long on the match and then had to completely rush through the end of what happened with Drew, Seth, and Jey.
And you remember, it's the last thing that you see. It's the last thing you're going to remember. And speaking of remembering, I want to go back to some of the stuff that we saw during the show. Remember, I always tell you, when the WWE wants you to remember, they will replay stuff over and over again. And when they want you to forget, they won't play it at all. So I have a couple of points about that later in the show. But the timing and the pacing and the way the match developed and the selling and the registering and the false finishes, I was like so into the match. And then we get the weirdness with the super kick and then the rush on the Drew stuff. I was just like, it was so abrupt for me. I just felt like I could not get myself into the end of the match and what had happened. And that's my honest and fair opinion. I believe it's a fair opinion on what I saw last night in the main event.
The one thing I want to ask you about before we get out to the Busted Open Nation, Bully, is about the fan reaction to that match last night. I thought it was very, very interesting because it's always going to be difficult, Bully, because you have two baby faces in the ring. Jey Uso, extremely popular. Seth Rollins, extremely popular. But it was very interesting in that probably a little after the middle of that match, how I felt like the fans kind of got behind Jey. It seemed like the fans in attendance were rooting for Jey to beat Seth to win that title. But also, which was very loud and very telling, were the CM Punk chants that were happening during that match as well. What did you think of the crowd reaction during Raw last night?
I would like to take the second part first, Dave.
Please
The
go ahead.
CM Punk chants are designed to get under whose skin?
Seth Rollins.
Ding, ding, ding. Circle gets a square. Johnny, tell him what is one. Why do you think that the live audience in Albany, halfway through the match, was definitively behind Jey Uso? Think about it. Use a little bit of logic.
Well, I think they love Jey Uso, but right now, I mean, that's always going to be part of it. They love Jey Uso, but they also love CM Punk. They're still on the high of CM Punk returning. But I also feel like, and I'm guilty of this too, when you're at a show and there's a championship match, you want to see that championship change hands. And that Albany crowd last night wanted to see Jey Uso beat Seth Rollins for that World Heavyweight Championship.
Once again, ding, 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 circle gets a square. Absolutely. There's two baby faces there. Seth has been the champion for a while. Okay. Seth won the tournament for the championship, correct?
Yeah, that's going back. I'm trying to remember exactly what the date was, but yeah.
They didn't just give him the championship. He won a tournament for the championship.
Oh, yeah. He wasn't just handed that championship.
So,
he earned it.
It was a new championship. It was created. Seth's had it for a while. Albany doesn't exactly get a ton of world championship matches. So it's an opportunity maybe for us to see a world title change right in front of our faces. How cool would that be? And that's why they're behind Jey Uso.
Now,
and now the CM Punk chants go with that. Because if we can chant CM Punk loud enough and we can get into Seth's ear, maybe Seth will screw up and maybe Jey wins and we get that title change.
I see that, and I definitely agree with you with the Albany crowd. It's one thing to cheer for Jey Uso. It's another thing to have the CM Punk chants, because that's almost a little bit on another level. That is, like you said, getting under his skin. That is saying definitively that we're behind CM Punk when CM Punk is not even in the building and not even on this show. I'm very interested how the crowd reactions are going to be moving forward for Seth Rollins. CM Punk is going to be on SmackDown on Friday, and CM Punk is going to be back on Monday Night Raw. I would have to think that it's going to be something similar to Randy Orton, where he's going to sign with Monday Night Raw, and he's going to be a mainstay on Monday nights with Seth Rollins. So when we start seeing Punk and Seth on the same show together, which wasn't the case last night, I'm wondering how the crowd's reactions are going to be moving forward and what this means for Seth Rollins, Bully, moving forward.
Listen, people like to chant CM Punk, but they also like to sing Seth's song. What's the difference? Well, one is actually chanting for the man, the guy, an actual wrestler. One is just singing some guy's song. I could thoroughly understand why a fan base, an arena full of WWE Universe fans would want to get behind CM Punk. There's something about that CM Punk chant, as opposed to just going, whoa, whoa, whoa. Now I can hear all the Seth Rollins fans going right now, screw you, Bully, blah, blah, blah. We love Seth Rollins. Yeah? Well, watch what happens next time CM Punk and Seth Rollins are in the same place at the same time. Those Punk chants are going to be loud.
Yes.
There's no reason for them not to be right now. CM Punk is the flavor of the, I'll call it, month right now in the WWE. How long this flavor lasts remains to be seen. I believe in the WWE Universe, Punk has loyal fans. We heard the reaction that first night when he came back at Survivor Series. The next night in Nashville at Raw, I believe the people were firmly behind Punk. Now, they sat around for 3 hours. They knew Punk was going to be there. Was the pop the same? No, the pop wasn't the same, because now he's coming out. We've gotten all the way to, 10:48. Actually, it was 10:51 Eastern Standard Time before Punk came out. The people know, okay, Punk's coming out next. He has to come out next since he was advertised for the show. There's only 9 minutes left in the show. So how big of a pop can you really get? But I do believe that when these guys do come face to face, head to head, whether it's moving into the Rumble or whether it's going into WrestleMania, I think the people are going to be firmly behind CM Punk. And the great thing about Seth is Seth can turn on a dime. Yes. If Seth needs to be the heel in this situation, he's great enough at what he does. He's been a heel long enough that he can just turn on the dime. You heard him that first night with the CM Punk chants when he was in the ring. Yep, get it out of your system. Come on, get him out of your system. That's something a heel says. A babyface would have said, you know what? I'm a CM Punk fan too. So you chant his name as long as you want and as loud as you want, and I'll actually chant it with you. I wouldn't be surprised if the Punk chants actually really did get under Seth's skin just a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I'm wondering if Seth was expecting CM Punk chants that first night on Monday Night Raw, because Seth has been one of the most popular wrestlers in the WWE for the past year. And then now he's in the ring, and as you said, the flavor of the month is here, and now people are chanting his name. Forget about during other parts of the show, but while I'm in the ring, they're chanting his name. That's very interesting, Bully, because we asked the question. Listen, it wasn't that long ago, 3 months ago, Punk was in AEW, right? And even in Chicago, there were people that were booing CM Punk. I was in Newark, New Jersey for an AEW show, and they were actually chanting F CM Punk. We asked the question, hey, if Punk comes back in Chicago, obviously he's going to get a big reaction in Chicago, but will he get that same reaction in Nashville, Tennessee, or in Albany, New York? Like, it's one thing to get it in Chicago, but will he get it everywhere? We asked that question, Bully. I think right now it seems that he's going to get that kind of reaction everywhere.
One of the things that I would do if I was the WWE is I obviously would announce when CM Punk is going to be on Raw, but I would never hit CM Punk's music until he needs to be seen. I would never show Punk in the back. I wouldn't show the walk to the ring, and I know why they do it. They do it, going into a break because you're going to stay in front of your TV, during a commercial if Punk is on his way to the ring. They do it with Cody a lot. They do it with a variety of talents. But with Punk, I wouldn't do it. You never know when he's going to come out, to keep that pop as pure as possible and as loud as possible.
Bully, that static before his song, that's the glass breaking.
Yes.
Before Stone Cold Steam. And like, people are probably, oh, LaGreca, you're crazy. I'm not crazy. Look at the reactions that CM Punk is getting when he comes out. Look at the views. Like, they broke records with the views on YouTube and social media exploding. I mean, there's been a lot of superstars that have come in and out of the door the last 10 years. I don't think anybody's gotten the reaction like CM Punk did.
I believe I read on social media from, I believe this was on the site that keeps us up to date on tickets sold for any particular arena, for any particular company in any particular event. I think moving into that show last night in Albany, the last week they sold about between 1,500 and 1,700 tickets. Punk wasn't even advertised. So I don't know if he was there dark last night or anything, but Punk wasn't advertised for the show, and they still moved a significant amount of tickets, during the last week. Can I definitively say that that was because of CM Punk? No, I can't say that. Could it have been just because of the matches that were announced already, or what the people thought they were getting already? Maybe. But there is the Punk factor that comes into play here.
I also just feel like the WWE is hot right now. Think about this. Like, Raw, obviously you're not getting a Roman Reigns. He's on SmackDown. Roman's been out. Last night, no Orton, no Punk. So the two guys that just came back at Survivor Series and are hot and the big returns, no Orton, no Punk, no problem. The WWE had no problem moving tickets and putting on a great Monday Night Raw last night.
About 2 years ago, Dave, I don't know, approximately 2 years ago, we were sitting here talking about, I have no idea how people sit through a Monday Night Raw live.
Yeah.
We would talk about, it's a Monday, you're back to work, you pick the kids up from school, you drive to the arena, you deal with traffic, you walk into the building, and oh my God, it's an exhausting day. Now, I think the opposite. I'd want to be in an arena for a Monday Night Raw. It seems like Raw has that fun factor back again, and there's that word fun again that I always talk about with AEW. Whether it's AEW with the referees or the rules or the no selling, blah, 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 it's still a fun product live. It's still a fun experience live. I think Raw and SmackDown have brought that fun factor back.
Yeah, and I know it's a weird gauge, but it always reminds me of the Attitude Era is when the show opens and you see the signs. I think the signs are always, to me, like, if the fans are really invested on the characters, the personalities, and what's going on, because you're taking the time to make a sign, you want to be seen. You're starting to see more and more. There was a time, Bully, I remember we weren't seeing any of that stuff in the crowd at all. And then we were hearing all the stories about like security telling people to sit down and all this type of stuff. You're not hearing that type of things either. Because you know what? When you're getting a lot of people standing up and invested in what's going on, they're not going to be doing that. So, man, it's to me, the WWE is firing at all cylinders right now.
I would never listen. I know Vince McMahon was a big stickler for this product is for the TV audience, for people watching at home. So we don't want to distract from anything that's going on from our promos, our in-ring action. To me, you're basically a rock and roll show. And you want people to react at your rock and roll show any way they want. And you have the Attitude Era as your barometer. Why was it okay for people, excuse me, to bring their signs during the Attitude Era, where basically there were so many signs you couldn't see the people?
Yeah.
But now, not one sign can be held up. Let your fans do what they want. They want to bring giant signs, let them bring giant signs. Yes, if they have a sign that says F the WWE, you're going to want to take that away because you don't want that on your television show. But for the most part, let people bring their sides. Let the kids bring them sides. Let people do whatever makes them happy at your show.
Some really good storytelling going on with Monday Night Raw. We'll get into it a little bit later with Drew McIntyre and Drew McIntyre's beef about, you know, him being passed over, him not getting chances, him not being respected. And we saw, you know, his feelings and his emotions come out at the end of Raw last night. This is going to be a good story, Bully, between Seth Rollins and CM Punk. And I believe it's going to be marred with truth. Seth Rollins is a guy who's been a part of the WWE for a very long time. And he has waved the flag through all the ups and downs. He has, you know, gone through the barrage of like the AEW buzz and all the momentum and had to hear all the stuff about how great everybody else's wrestling was, but never mentioning the WWE or Seth Rollins. And now, as you said, CM Punk comes back. Everybody is embracing CM Punk. Seth Rollins is getting bombarded with CM Punk chants. I'm very, very interested to see where this story goes, Bully.
You and me both. I don't think it's being marred by truth. I think it's being helped by truth.
No, and when I mean by marred, I meant like in Seth Rollins' case where, hey, I'm being honest, I'm being truthful, but I don't think the fans are buying it. Like, I don't think it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about everything that Seth is going to say. People are just happy that CM Punk is back and they're going to cheer CM Punk.
CM Punk is that is the label on every rock and roll album we ever listened to. You know, parental advisory, you know,
yeah,
requested or whatever it was. He's the rebel. He's the, I mean, not that first promo he cut was very rebellious, but people are going to be into him. They don't forget that he coined himself the voice of the voiceless. He is a master of his smoke and mirrors and has been really good at being able to keep his fan base close to him. I don't think there's many things that can do. And the more Seth talks about how Punk is going to wrong us and Punk is going to go back to being Punk one day, I think the more the people are going to want to get behind him.
Yeah, I mean, it's
all
just
Punk
like...
has to say is, Seth, you keep telling these people what I'm going to do and how I'm going to turn back into the old Punk. How are you going to look when that doesn't happen? How is that going to look when I defeat you, you know, for the World Heavyweight Championship? It's very easy here. And I got to tell you, for Seth, he's got to be really careful about what he says, because I can see the people turning on him in an instant and getting behind Punk.
But it's starting already. But Bully, like, follow the timeline here. And obviously, you know the timeline. Everybody that's listening knows the timeline. CM Punk walked out, right? CM Punk was very unhappy with the WWE. Guy had a match with The Undertaker at WrestleMania 29, and in the meantime, he was very upset that he wasn't in the main event, and like he's facing the Undertaker, and it's like the Undertaker streak is the biggest thing in the WWE, but that didn't seem to really matter. Had all the complaints, leaves, really bad mouths the company, bad mouths Triple H on the way out, right? Then, he's gone from wrestling, didn't want anything to do with pro wrestling. He was finished. Actually went off to a career in MMA. That failed. He comes back to the world of pro wrestling, goes to AEW 2 years ago. The big AEW's the alternative to the WWE, the anti-WWE. His first promo, he kind of bags on the WWE. He's in AEW. The hell with the WWE. I'm in AEW. This is my home. Ultimately gets fired from AEW. Then comes back to the WWE. Not saying like, hey, I chose this company over the other. I got fired. Really didn't have much of a choice but to go back to the WWE. Comes back with open arms. And now Seth Rollins, who has been loyal to the WWE through and through, never even thought about leaving the WWE to go to the nice new shiny toy called AEW. WWE is my home. By the way, I'm also married to one of the most popular wrestlers in the WWE named Becky Lynch. We are the power couple in the WWE. We're loved by the WWE universe. I'm waving the flag. Everybody's talking about how great Will Ospreay is, and he's the best wrestler in the world, and Bryan Danielson with AEW is the best wrestler in the world, and yada, yada. Well, how about looking at the world of the WWE? Look at me. Look at the other people that are in this company. They're amazing. They're the best at what they can do. And CM Punk comes back, and everybody's like, yay. And now CM Punk's the golden child, and Seth Rollins is getting a mixed reaction from the fans. He's getting bombarded by CM Punk chants, and that crowd at Albany was rooting for Jey Uso and not Seth Rollins. Like, if I'm Seth Rollins, I'm like, holy shit. I'm in a WWE ring, and I'm actually getting booed. I'm getting bombarded by CM. What the fuck did I do? I've been nothing but loyal to you people. This guy here is like a cheating spouse. It's like somebody that's going out there and cheating on you. And the only reason why he's coming home is because everybody else booted him out. He's coming home because there's nowhere else for him to go. And you're cheering him and not me? You're killing me here. You're killing me.
What happens to people who are too loyal? What happens to people that are too loyal in relationships sometime? What happens to people who are too loyal to their employer sometime?
Loyalty is seen as a weakness.
Correct.
Loyalty, when you're 100% loyal, you get screwed. Why? You know what? There's Dave. Dave's a great worker. You know what? Don't give it to Joe Schmo to work to him. Give it to Dave. Have Dave do it. Dave will do it, and he won't complain. He'll just do it. So give him more and more. Pay comes, time for pay raise. Boy, Dave's done a lot with Busted Open, but why would we give him a raise? He's loyal. Dave ain't going anywhere. By the way, that was a quote from an executive. Dave ain't going anywhere. He's loyal to this place. You get fucked when you're loyal. You get fucked. And Seth Rollins right now is getting fucked. There you go.
I would like that to be released as our video for today. You're 1,000% accurate. Loyalty gets you nowhere anymore. Back in the day, different story. So Seth is that loyal company guy.
Yep.
And Punk is the one with issues and problems and the rebellious attitude and this and that. And we love him because he's a fuck up. And the world loves a good fuck up. That's okay. You come back. You're our fuck up. You're our rebel. We love you anyway. That's just the way it is.
Bully, you know what, Bully? I'm yelling and screaming about Seth. Well, I'm wearing a CM Punk. I'm wearing a CM Punk shirt. I'm a CM Punk fan.
Punk also has a cool factor to him.
Yes.
Does Seth Rollins?
No.
Seth Rollins is a phenomenal wrestler who over the last year chose to wear flamboyant clothing, outrageous clothing, talk in this outrageous way. It's kind of a character extension. What's Punk? What, Dave? Talk.
No, because this goes back to the conversation that you and I have had endlessly on this show about Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is going out there, look at me. Where's the emotional connection? Where's the character? Why do I love you? Why am I going to connect with you?
Imagine CM Punk puts this bullet in his chamber and pulls the trigger. Hey, Seth, they sing your song, but they chant my name.
Two.
That's all he needs to say. They sing your corny song, because that's all you got is that corny song. But whether I am here or I'm not here, and when I come back, they have chanted my name since day one. They don't chant for Seth Rollins. They chant for CM Punk.